Are you ready to truly join us? Then let's begin the ceremony.
Today we're going to take a look at RescueTarget Moonlander, a Minecraft web series with unique animation that you can see here. This isn't your average Minecraft series, so let's get into it and see what makes it so unique. You're going to want to stick around for this one. The first video is Alex safe caving new friend, and it has us start from our player in their house. They have their friend user0 bring attention to an ender pearl in the chest, where we can see the user's name is Alex. Alex is impressed, but he stresses that they need more iron, so they decide to go out caving. As they make a plan, user0 walks out the door and Alex follows. They get into a cave and it's so dark, so user0 makes torches for us to see. Interestingly, the mine already has ladders, but no torches. They go down and explore, and Alex asks why the torches were missing, so it seems that they were purposefully removed. They continue down what we can see as their previous strip mine, which is oddly structured, and they decide to split up and search for ores. After a bit, user0 exclaims, "What the fuck? What happened? Did you see that?" No. Press tab." Alex does so, and the screen starts glitching with green artifacting. When Alex stops, he says that it's just the two of them in the server. User0 seemingly shrugs it off after Alex's confirmation that there's just nothing, and they continue mining. Then the video ends suddenly. The description says, "Uploader, Alex." A comment on the video by the creator says, "Sorry for no sound in the video, so I added music at the beginning. Name was Alex. Mission accomplished. Target safe. Clone terminated. Next target Moonlander. Location hacked Minecraft Alpha 10.0.12. Structures land update. Begin." The next video is Request Backup Hunters Request. White text fades on saying he's watching. When we see a player run through a monochrome world and eventually into a gray forest with figures and structures. A player named M00nlander says it's an anomaly that watches players. So-called people are reviewing. Me retorts, "M00nlander, I told you to watch the anomalies." "Oh, come on, M01, I already sent M012 to watch our anomalies, such a..." gibberish. Creator. We have a leaking virus problem from quarantine. It got escaped. We might need to meet the creator. M00nlander, our player, and multiple others walk down the steps to the field, facing a figure sitting on a protruding bars and particles. Their name tag is gibberish, but they say, "The name of the virus is user0. What should we do?" Him says, "Client name is Alex. He's locating on a stolen map from a popular Minecraft site. Find him, disguise and spy, and locate the enemy." The word Alex appears around the figure on the ends of the protrusions. We might need backup, and the video ends. The description says, "Uploader, worker 01, elite. Location name, Spectaland. 01, reporting for duty." Mission Clone terminated mission starts us in a black and white world, where the sky darkens and the word found appears. User0 says, "Damn, it's dark," and two other users, 05 and who we see from appear. They start walking forward and find the mine as they follow user0 and Alex into the cave behind them. When user0 says, "What the fuck?" we can hear a heartbeat sound as they run forward and the words, "Thank you, 05, appear. Then we see a tall, dark, and lanky figure holding up another player to the wall. It's user0. Then user0 says, "You." That plays in a text-to-speech manner as we see me reply with me. User0 asks what me wants, and they say, "You." He says that they will never be able to catch the real him, let alone a clone. He is everywhere. But me says he violated multiple rules, which user0 sarcastically retorts that he doesn't care. Me tries to be calm, saying they started off on the wrong foot, and user0 says they should just get it over it. Hit him. As me commands, the creature seems to squeeze user0, letting particles come out. User0 curses me as the creature squishes user0 into particles, and they disappear. The description says, "Uploader, worker 01, elite." The tags say, "Clone, he's out there, find." The next video is Someone, where we see two players with gear in the same update we heard before. The one that was labeled as hacked. The other player is James22, and they're walking through a plains biome as James asks what the fuck that is, as red particles appear in the sky. Suddenly, black figures with green appear and shoot fireballs at them as music starts to grow louder. We can see what seem to be blue crystal bars lower on our player's UI as they get hit and continue run away. We can see blue crystal looking bars lower on our player's UI as they get hit and continue to run away. Moonlander, our other player, tries to shoot arrows at them with no success. The two run to hide behind a tree and we can see dark figures looking for our players as they don't see them and turn around. Then they ascend into the night sky. James and Moonlander look at each other and wonder what the hell just happened. James 22, not understanding why Moonlander downloaded the game, they said because it seemed fun. But James gets really upset at them and says they're out. Moonlander tries to plead with James, but they seem to disconnect as we pause in the footage. After the cut, we're back to Moonlander as they walk around with only ambience around them. Then the video ends. The description says, "Perspective, Moonlander. No more valid." Now before the next video, I wanted to point out a few things that I feel I need to make clear about this version's differences. First is the plants. They're tall stalks, almost looking like seaweed that's on land. Kind of like corn from old Crazy Craft. Another thing we can see in the footage is James and Moonlander's text chat before they started recording. So weird. Another portal? Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going there. Why? You're probably gonna die. Why? Bro, it's dangerous. Why? LMAO, but anyway, we should get going. There are odd portals in this world, and Moonlander knows that they're, for some reason, dangerous, but refuses to elaborate on why. There's also that odd blue crystal system. They appeared when Moonlander got hit. There's also the idea that this client is hacked for some reason. Likely hacked by whatever those black and green demons were. Whatever they were. But I assume we'll find out more soon. The next two videos are actually OST tracks. A lot of the videos on this channel are actually just the soundtrack for this fictional hacked version, because, yes, this is not entirely an ARG, but has ARG elements. It's mostly a web series. I do not care what you say, ARG in the tags gets more attention than web series. It's still a pretty fucking damn good one, so stop bitching. I'm sorry, where were we? Ah, yes. Not Show is the next video where now we're on a beach in the same update, but our perspective looks like virtual reality with realistic head tilt and movements. Halfway through the video, it starts to get darker and more pixelated. And if you look at 21 seconds on just the right frame, you can barely see a white lanky figure like we saw before our player starts running. And at 27 seconds, we can barely see the head of the creature as the video goes black and ends. Uploader, Moonlander. Found this in the game files. Perspective? Question mark? Also, to the people who commented Interloper, god damn it. Fine, if this video gets 35,000 views and 1,000 likes, I will make an Interloper video as higher priority. The next video is Minecraft 10/0/18/2024/02/24/11/06/05. The video title is a timestamp of a Minecraft recording during February 24th, 2024. The update is now the color of atmosphere, with colorful plants around and a different hotbar from before. Our player is on matte black blocks that break easily as they get down and explore the forest they're in. We can see the blue bar again, and it's difficult to tell now whether it's supposed to be a feather or a crystal. The player has an odd pause in the middle fighting a zombie, and they don't fight back after they're hit for a few moments. Then they turn around and continue walking in a new direction, and we can see how interesting the environment is, even having kelp in the water. Our player finds a snowy biome and continues exploring. The player gets to a lake where they survey the area and close the game. We can see they had previously taken a screenshot as well, which is the same code as the video. The description says, Uploader Moonlander. Just a Minecraft gameplay with the new update that was released yesterday from the moment of recording this video. It's so beautiful, even at night. Although, still scared of the blood moon occurring at any moment. Was also taking a lot of screenshots then. It's so colorful! Our next video is Minecraft 10/0/18 gameplay server. We start with a dark screen and mechanical noise as Moonlander is in danger fades on screen. Then we see a quick flash of the black and green monster and another player in front of the black multi-appendage creature from the request video with sparks. Then another has a player in a dark space, but the text is garbled, and finally a scene of someone getting chased by the lanky creature. Then we have a player named Skelet punch a recorder to stop cutting out. They ask if our recorder is good, and we can see it's Moonlander in a new base with different tools in the new update. Moonlander says they were busy AFK. Skeleton wonders why they didn't just message them through Discord. Skeleton reminds Moonlander they wanted to go exploring for diamonds, so they get ready and head out. Well, it starts raining. They make boats and set sail. We even get to see how the feather mechanic works as Moonlander uses it to leap. But then Skeleton stops walking, looking at something. A little ways away is a dark figure as anomalous sounds start playing. The sky starts to darken as Moonlander pleads with Skeleton to run and not ask questions. They start running and the two go into a dark cave to hide. We only hear melancholic music in the background as the two wait, until we hear a loud, bit-crushed roar of the entity as Moonlander shushes Skeleton. After it's subsided, Moonlander hops out of the cave to check and verifies it, and the two leave the area to start heading for diamonds. The description says, Uploader, Moonlander. More gameplay footage of the new update. They really don't like me, nor us. The tags say Minecraft Beta, Minecraft Alpha, Minecraft Alphaver, Alphabet, and Traitor in all caps. Besides the odd inclusion of Alphabet, probably just for SEO, the Traitor part of the tags is interesting, especially with the they don't like me. After another soundtrack, Good Memories, we have the video joining. We seem to be in the same biome as the last video, playing as Moonlander again, who now has their audio on as we can hear their background and sniffling. They're retracing their steps and find the dark creature again. He takes a deep breath and calls out to it. The creature doesn't respond as Moonlander says they have something to say that involves it. He explains that he killed one of them, one of the Spectalanders. He is their target. He asks to join them, hoping the developers can't read his messages, but says he has finalized his decision. He starts walking closer to the figure and the video ends. Perspective recorded without notice. Moonlander. Curse you devs, I'll join them and I will leak the jar. I'm seeking the future you asked. The next video is Success, which follows up directly after, having Moonlander load into a new world as they enter the river, with their audio gone. They're in a monochrome world of black and gray pillars as they look around. A deep voice asks, "Do you even know what you're trying to do, kid?" Moonlander keeps looking around trying to find the speaker. "Do you even know what are the consequences of your actions?" Looking up, we finally see a figure with black spine-like protrusions. "Do you even know what your future holds for you?" It hovers above Moonlander as it continues to walk around the sky. Moonlander thinks they know. So let us get this straight, and get to the point. We are not spitters. Moonlander asks them what they are. The black creature then yells for Moonlander to be silent. We are viruses, and you should be aware of our capabilities first. But that's for later. Yet, you're saying that you want to join us, Moonlander affirms. You claim yourself to kill a Spectalandar. Ugh, what a stupid nickname. Yet how did this happen to be, exactly? Moonlander types that it was an accident, but deletes it as the figure guesses that first. Then it reveals that there are multiple versions of it levitating behind other pillars that appear before Moonlander. Are you ready for what it's going to take you to endure such acts? Be the imposter of your clients and the developers alike? Be the true traitor that you are. Are you ready to truly join us? Moonlander says that they're ready. Then let's begin the ceremony. And the video ends. The description says, no. Failed to fetch camera date. Failed to fetch player data. Failed to fetch player location. Failed to fetch player IP. Failed to fetch player ID. Failed to fetch player dimension. So this description gives us a lot more information than it looks like on the surface. First off, we know that somehow this dimension is out of the developer's jurisdiction. The developers that Moonlander was worried about previously. We also know the jar file of this version cannot be released. A jar file being the compression type that is often used for Minecraft mod packs and versions because it's for Java. But why is this error description so useful? With the information about the IP and ID, we know that these players are being tracked for some reason. We also so far know of 3 different factions. There are the spitters and or viruses, who have these black protrusions, green mouths, and spit fireballs. They seem to be more aggressive. We also know that there is the Spectalanders, the lanky creatures along with those people in the monochrome world. But there is also the developers. We don't see them, we only know vaguely of them. But for right now, they seem to be brooding figures over Moonlander. Joining the viruses, however, marks Moonlander as a traitor, possibly to the developers under some contract, alliance, or maybe even servitude based on how worried Moonlander is about his conversation being monitored. This introduces us to more of the world within this series, and what these things are. But that is still yet to be determined. Moonlander is in danger is next, with James 22 loading into the same world as last time. They note that everything is the same while the version is different. Moonlander notes James and begs him for help. James 22 asks where he is, and on the right side of his screen, in the aspect ratio border, we see a dark figure appear with pink eyes and disheveled skin. James freaks out, wondering how he could do that, while Moon says he had to put himself in there. James doesn't understand and keeps turning, wondering how he can still be in the border of his screen. Moon says that they stole his soul, and now he's stuck in the game, and he tells James that he has to be the one to kill them. James is still freaking out, and Moonlander says his vision is going hazy, and says he must release him from this prison. He tells James to locate the entities, and he's cut off when we hear a high-pitched sound. It almost sounds to be a voice, where he runs off. A red portal appears in front of James and then disappears just as fast. After a blink transition, we see that Skeleton has joined the Voider world. We can see the chat once he is in, where he tells Skeleton that Moonlander is gone, and Skeleton tries to calm him down, telling him that Moon got corrupted. Skeleton seems to know quite a bit about this, but says he doesn't know how he did it, boiling it down to him effectively joining the dark side. James is confused, but Skeleton says that he's not going to speak to them, and that he's sad he left him. Skeleton poses that there could be a way to get him back, and asks James if he remembers what he saw. James said it was dark, pointing to where I saw it, the portal. Skeleton then explains he was spying on his targeted channel and saw them speak, but James doesn't know what that means. Apparently James didn't know that Moonlander had a YouTube channel, likely this very one, considering it was Moonlander's perspective. Skeleton says this must lead back to the Spectalanders, and James gets worried. Then they start to hear loud noises and get startled. The loud music makes them panic a bit as they survey their surroundings, but it goes away a short bit later. Skeleton starts piecing things together. The spitters that attacked them and saying how Moon got tired of something, which led to him joining them. But they're actually viruses. The Spectalanders are against them, but Skeleton thinks that there is a twist. They're taking Moonlander's soul. Skeleton continues by saying now he's in the game because of that, and now they need to rescue him. But after digging in the files, Skeleton found absolutely nothing. So it can't be there. It's like he manifested and then disappeared, something beyond just the jar file. James proposes to go into the randomly appearing portals, and Skeleton says he never saw one in the second server. James then says, "Welcome to server 12. We'll get back to that. The music comes back and James reacts. Skeleton wonders why they appear so fast and frequently. Maybe Moon was trying to tell them something with them. Skeleton then pities Moon for a moment and also calls him a Moony Pie. Okay. Skeleton then proposes they gear up and the video ends. Uploader, James 22. We need to save him. Minecraft Alpha 10.0.19. After this video, there is 3 more tracks, part of the OST, until our next actual video. 1. Cutscene, Moon Landing. We're in 10.0.19 again, with what seems to be moose, and with purple and red glowing antlers. We see their purple and black environment as the camera pans the landscape. After some ping sounds, dust clouds rupture the ground, where a crater seems to form and the video ends. The description says, Perspective Cutscene, Moon Landing. Play, Moonlander. Wait, where are you going? We're here to rescue you. Comment by James 22. That was, frankly, quite odd. A cutscene that seems to show a crash landing, but it's a moon landing? Did Moonlander somehow flee to an area of space within a server? Well, next is Moon Landing to the cave, where we start from another perspective where James 22 gets up and surveys the odd purplish land around him. We see bright flowers and odd structures in this environment as text on screen says, Welcome to the moon side. Then we see from James's perspective as he wanders around looking at the creatures and flora. James even finds one of these moose from before and hits it, leading to a guttural shriek. After staring into some tar, he turns around and sees a large floating black tentacle monster with white eyes that start to approach him as ghastly noises play. As the screen goes red and glitchy, we see a blue player run over and jump on the creature, killing it with the crystals coming out of their body. Please be careful next time, okay? Their name is Sconsigon. The camera blinks and the video ends. The description says, Uploader James22. I've never seen this before. No wonder what the dev was planning all this time. Still, no time to rest. This place is dangerous. Thankfully I was saved by some player. I think she's covered in those crystals for a pretty long time. Now, I haven't mentioned it up until now, but I just really want to bring attention to the amazing animations this series has, along with its creative camera perspectives. First, we had that jarring and honestly super creative shot from the video where Moonlander appears in the border of the screen. And that's not to mention all the animations in this series. The creator has a Discord and Tumblr where they often post their process or work-in-progress animations, and they look so good. The amazing part is that this is all within Minecraft too. The animations are done within Blender and then they somehow get imported for all these cool models and animation sequences within the actual game. It's really cool and gives this series such a unique identity. There's so much I want to expand on this point for, but that's for much later. Walking Creatures has James walking with the other player as we see more creatures, like the walking things. The creatures that looks like the ones James was attacked by. Our new friend walks to a darker area where we can see that their crystals actually glow a bit. James pulls out the new dark sword made of some new material as the walking things converge on their location and start making deep croaking moans as the video ends. Uploader James22. Scheduled upload? Yes. Sconsigon and me are exploring the caves a little bit, trying to grab at least some tools and blocks to get out from this place called the Moonside. The way she's covered in those crystals might hurt her. I need to come for her and get more knowledge about this. Huh, what an interesting video. Let me check the comm, and there's already a ship between the two. The internet, ladies and gentlemen. The next video is another OST track, and after that is Caught. This starts with the two walking around, and still we can see that the chat opened to their previous conversation, where James thanked them, and Sconsigon explained how the crawlers are harmless, and she could use an extra hand for resources. James then asks about the Moonside, and Scone, as I will be referring to her as, says she doesn't like this place, while James looks again at the version number. James wonders why she doesn't just leave, and she says it's kind of impossible, and that she's been stuck on the Moonside for a very long time. James wonders how, and Scone says he will be too, and he denies that could possibly happen. But how? Scone says that this place feels unfinished, because the portal appears every so often as coders manage to escape from this place. The coder, however, is not a developer, and rather the black gas-like beast that attacked them before. Scone says they're called coders because they code themselves to do things, but they're stupid on their own, so it's easy to ambush them. The two of them go down in a little nook as we see the new and odd items that James has acquired in this world. James suggests that if the coders can code themselves out, why don't we just use them? Scone says that they would need a lure, a person, and says that James is too valuable to lose right now. But he's persistent, and she says that she wants to live too. But he continues and she caves in. He explains to her that he's also searching for his friend, another player named Moonlander. So she assumes they both just threw themselves down here and sarcastically congratulates him. He walks out of the little nook and says that they should get moving for materials. But the screen freezes as a red symbol fades on screen, and then it cuts back to them walking. Scones mentions how James needs materials, so they explain how stone is everywhere, but they don't want to go farther ahead and must be aware of something. But she can't remember what it is exactly. Scone starts mining while James wanders off and eventually pauses, looking out into the cave while the red insignia appears again, too faded to tell exactly what it is. James shakes his head and keeps going. But now that he's much farther away, Scones asks if he heard something. But he didn't, so he just brushes it off. After getting a little over a stack, James says that that should be good, and Scone says that she has her materials as they agree to go to a landing site. Then we hear explosions. As Scone tells James to run, we see fireballs everywhere as it seems to be the spitters. As they tower up to the ceiling, a red tentacled parasite jumps on James, as his footage lags, and then the video ends. The virus's appendages matching the symbol we had seen faded over the footage earlier. Upload James 22. Fetching perspective. Success. Disguise for the mission takes place where we left off, on Caught, with James getting attacked. We fade to a monochrome screen of a Steve skin on the ground. It's James. He gets up and looks around with none of his items. Looking back, we can see Scone lying on the ground as well. James panics as he thinks he's lost his only ally in this world, as he tries to wake her up. He then gets interrupted by a virus floating behind him. Surprise, surprise. Guess who's back, huh? The virus has things beneath him that look like giant fire cannons, as he acknowledges an SL_01. Scone is up and alive as they acknowledge Scone as an elite member of... Shut up. Now, careful with the words. Now I need you, SL01. James interjects and the virus continues. Why? Your sage power is powerful yet tasty. Nuh-uh. Huh? Not happening. Oh, wow. That's cute. The fire cannons start approaching as the virus taunts that this one is his. Scone apologizes as a white portal opens up with an energy beam, and they tell James to leave quickly. She'll handle this. James walks through the portal into a white void, and a red creature similar to the one before appears and approaches. Perspective, James 22. Cutscene play? Yes. Alive? Yes. Disguise for... Redacted? Yes. It seems like we have an easier name to call them now. SL01. But it poses a question as to what their sage powers are, and why they were trapped in that cave. But if she could seemingly free James, what about herself? There's also the question of that red spider virus. It doesn't seem to be friendly, yet it is also in SL01's pocket realm. But maybe it's not her doing. Something that is sticking onto James without anyone else seeing. Our next video is 2, cutscene, I'm sorry, redacted. A 5-letter word. We see from James's perspective when he is forced to go to the portal and the words, I'm sorry, faded on screen. We now see a glitched version of the world with SL01 as a black figure with a white dot on their face and wings. Well, out of your shell. How does it feel now? Don't you dare even touch Moon. We can't just risk to lose another player. Oh, don't you worry, my friend. He is very fine. In fact, let me call for him right now. The virus summons Moon, a spiny red mass similar to the virus before with Moon's face. Mine own lord, what shall thee hast me to doeth with this time? Moon, why don't you visit your old friend that ditched you after playing with you for a very, very long time? James is his name? As thee wisheth, mine own lord. No! What did you do to him? Oh, nothing much. I just got his soul. The virus holds his hand up with red particles displaying Moon's soul. SL01 calls him a monster as he disappears into a puff of smoke, reappearing in the sky. If you want me to return the soul of who you're trying to protect, you have to fight me. Very well. The virus starts his first attack as the video ends. Perspective, cutscene. I'm sorry, play. Getting a better look at both the virus and SL01, the animation is quite impressive, and we can see these figures in much fuller detail. Moon's virus design is utterly disgusting, but it's also so good for what it means to show. The virus looks sick, and SL01 looks quite cool too. The moving mouth is a bit odd against the matte black skin, and with one white eye, but considering the channel banner, I don't think this is their final look. Location name. You're not supposed to be here. /acid forest. This video opens with the word past, shaking before we see from a perspective in the monochrome world again. We see more interconnecting structures, flying figures, and birds. 016 says, someone needs to stop him. Multiple other numbered voices start panicking, wondering where 01 is. We see from the perspective of me that they're not privy to the current issue. But then multiple others exclaim that 01 is back, as me shouts that they're back. 16 says, Spectalanders, 01 is back! Him says, my children, do not panic and do not be feared. Our elite member of Spectalander is here. Meet our 01. The other starts celebrating as Mii refers to him as father, wondering what happened in her absence. A crowd of the other players gather around and murmur about danger, and what the creator will say is him says that Moonlander is in danger, and asks O1 if they're up to the task. All of the others promise to aid O1 in this dangerous mission, as the creator says, "The info tells us of a player, and that player has a destiny. A great one at that. The version is nothing like you have ever seen before, from entirely different dimensions similar to Earth. To clarify, great danger awaits. For the elite members of Spectalander such as you, I will give you a challenge of that dimension and time. Just so you know, for what you never seen, same goes with its evil that lurks inside." Right, let me get straight to the point. The version he's playing on is 10.0.x versions. Remember, our victim's name is Moonlander. An unknown virus is stalking our player, and the virus itself is unpredictable. You must stop it. It seems that I'm getting a little weary this time. And I sense the feeling that I'm not here for long. Now, where was I? Yes. Do not disappoint me, O1. All the others in the peanut gallery continue to mutter and whisper while echoing whatever the creator said. He opens a portal and tells O1 to go forth. You will be prepared on a location of that version, way, way far into the future. You must survive there. Be careful. The others say they will be careful as they go single file into the portal as O1 says, "Goodbye, Father." For 2 brief moments after entering the portal, we see a black and green world that looks similar to the virus's. Once we are back, we see James emerging through a portal into the same space we saw for a few frames. A dark environment with bright orange and green, along with towering treetops and falling red and orange particles. James checks the version he's in, and continues to watch, looking around at his surroundings, as he passes the pools of green liquid and enters the room we saw before. A black and white checkerboard floor lies in front of him, with black walls and lime green piping. Going forward into the green liquid and nether brick room, he runs forward to another white gate. Then suddenly a dark red figure with tentacles drops down, leaking the same orange liquid. We see no name, and James turns around, trying to run as his screen changes aspect ratios. And we see a red figure hiding in his screen border. We may not have seen a name, but I think we know exactly who that was. Location name Spectaland 01 reporting for duty. Location name Acid Forest Hero. Time to disguise starts where we ended previously, skipping James's encounter with the red figure back to SL01 and the virus. This is the past, where SL01 and the other Spectalanders are in the cave and land in a monochrome spot where the portal was. O10 wonders where the others are, as there's only a few of them, and O1 wrangles them to go to work now. They wander around and observe the surroundings, noting that this dimension is ID'd as -23. They choose to go in random directions, and O1 wishes them luck as she makes her own trek. The others note the abundance of crystals and wonder if they sucked the energy out of them. O1 reprimands them to not do such a thing, saying that's not their mission. O9 calls out that there are some kind of eggs here, with O1 wondering what they could be. Odd, harsh ambience starts to play as O1 wonders what a certain noise is, as the screen freezes and the sky fog takes on a red hue. O14 notes that they found something, and O1 thanks God they're okay. But then hears a scream that seems to come from O14, as we hear a bursting sound. After a cut, we see O1 running over to O14, their head replaced with a red, gushing neck. Location name Spectaland 01 reporting for duty. Location name Moonside Cave. Based on the comments, that gruesome ending surprised everyone, and frankly, it paints a dark picture for what happened between now and James falling to the moonside. The next 2 videos are music tracks until 3 cutscene, next stop, developer's realm. The cutscene has us back with James and the red figure as the virus appears behind Moonlander. "Oh, mine own lord, thee cameth back. I'm so joyous to seeth thee again." Tell me, my young friend, out of all the things that I asked you, this is what I get? So what was that? "I might not but apologizeth for mine own failure, and mine own lord." You had one job. One job. You were supposed to catch him, not teleport him. "Feareth not, mine own lord. We still hast another way to settleth all of this. We just needeth to findeth where James is. But who is't knoweth his location?" I think, yes, that's it. They might know the answer. The virus menacingly turns his face to the camera as a blue figure fades on, and then the video cuts. Perspective, cutscene, next stop, developer's realm, play. The next video is 4 cutscene Goodbye Father, and it starts with faded text saying, Goodbye Spectaland, as we see the creator looking upon his lands as it becomes more white. He's all alone, stuck only with the beauty of his own land, but also stuck only with his guardians. For ages, even centuries, developers will let us create our world to be in control with, yet we can't control it forever. SLO1 appears and the creator yells for her. Sonia, is everything alright? I missed you so much. Text in chat says, threat detected, extermination of virus Jack. Son? A puff of black particles and a grated scream take over as the audio of SLO1 seems to become a virus. Hello, Dad. What? Jack? My child, you're back, but what happened to you? What's with your sage power? I feel a dark presence emitting from you. Oh, so now you want to know, huh? Well, you want to know what happened? You happened, old man. Huh? What are you saying? Jack says that his father destroyed his life, so now he'll take his instead. Father pleads, but Jack demands to know where the developer's realm is, because it's forbidden information. Jack gets peeved and says that if he can't know where the developer's realm is, he'll take his father's soul. Father says there is another way to handle all this. Jack refuses. But then Father asks where Sonia has gone. Oh, Sonia, the great knight of Spectaland. Jack taunts his father, and Father starts to connect the dots. That he has done something to his precious daughter and begs why he did such a thing. He consoles Father by saying she'll bleed out in no time, because certain things start to waste his time. Father refers to him as my child again, and Jack gets more agitated, saying he must call him Jack. Father obliges, and then asks what his goal is. Jack thinks for some time and says, such an interesting question. His goal is to get as much power as possible, and he recalls that Spectaland is a living organism. Father chimes in that he is the heart and brain of this land, and not to touch it. Jack recalls how this is similar to how he denied him as the Knight of Spectaland before. Jack says that he has met a terrible fate, and tells him to accept his death, or else. Father refuses, but Jack doesn't accept no as an answer. He either gets it from him, or takes it by force. Father continues to stand his ground, and Jack is far angrier now that he has been denied 3 times. Father finally submits, and says he can grab his soul on a pedestal above them. Jack starts to walk away, but then turns around and seems to suck the life out of the creator, asking him if he thought he would get away with this that easy, calling him selfish. Father starts to plead for his life and apologizes for his past, for not treating Jack right, and for not forgiving him after he killed his own. The word is garbled, but it starts with an M. Jack doesn't seem to care as he kills him in cold blood, fading away into dust. Now, the sacred power of the legendary land sages is his. Goodbye, Spectaland. Falling apart, block by block. My trust descends down. You are gone. This land is doomed, so I must let it bleed like you. We see Spectaland, and it starts to glitch and distort as we know it's now dying. Location name, Spectaland, band Jack. This video is a major drop of critical connections with the Spectalanders, the virus, and their history. Jack is family with Sonia, SLO1. The Spectalanders that we previously heard of seem to be the good guys in Monochrome World, who were meant to help Moon and save his destiny. Jack killed his mother when he was younger and was refused the position of Knight of Spectaland by his father. Jack wants revenge and power, and he seems to be a killer who shouldn't be trusted, killing his own father, mother, and his own sister. After taking his father's soul, will he find the developer land, or did he forcibly take the knowledge? We'll have to find out soon. Ballerina of the Land is the next music track, and it's honestly a great song. Like all of the tracks on Moonlander's channel, you should listen to the music and watch these videos because they're just amazing. Including all of the animation and cinematography for the previous video, I need to contain my praise. Next is actually from a community post titled Land Showcase Number 1, with the video named Location Name Mother Hero Showcase. The video shows a serene and vibrant green and blue world with an angel figure standing on a grass mound. The angel looks similar to Sonia as we see particles appear in the air. The rest of the video is mostly still shots where we just watch the angel in her surreal world with pretty ambience. The most interesting section is when we're in the perspective of something that only has a half heart, as it flies around the world and we can see the structures and giant tree, along with just how truly serene it is. And one comment really stuck out to me about how it must be lonely there. The next two posts I'll mention simply because it's so hard to figure out timetables because of how community posts are labeled with their timestamps. Thank you, YouTube. We have James22 walking among a quartz temple with odd governing creatures that we currently don't understand the names of. The next is a red hellish world that seems to be Moon and Skelet's previous house on fire, with some figures on it, likely the virus Moon. There's also a giant flesh-like appendage that I feel like we'll see an incredible scene soon. There's even a stanza along with the post. In the realm above the sky where the angels do fly, a fallen angel named Cain did break the rules high. He descended to earth with a heart full of pride, and for his transgression he was punished oh so wide. His wings once pure and bright were now tarnished with gray, and his halo once shining bright was now cast away. He was banished to earth to roam and stray and to learn the value of obedience day by day. But Cain, he was stubborn and he refused to bend. He resisted the lessons and his punishment he would not amend. He wandered the earth alone and forlorn, and the weight of his sin he could not discern. The other angels, they looked down from above, and they wept for Cain with love and with love. For they knew that he was once pure and true, and they longed for the day when he would be renewed. But for now, Cain must suffer and atone for his rebellion and his disobedience all alone. And so he walks the earth with a heavy heart, and the weight of his sin he can never depart. Now, before we get into the next video, I want to analyze that a little bit, because it's very interesting in the way that it's phrased. Biblically speaking, Cain did not necessarily commit a rebellion. The story of Cain and Abel, where Cain becomes jealous of his brother Abel and tries to kill him because of his offerings, which that is a sin that he commits, and he is cast away. But it's specifically the word rebellion I want to look at in this poem, because going off the biblical story of Lucifer, the fallen angel, the morning star, one of the most beautiful angels who was cast away by God for his rebellion in heaven, the interesting tie-in with those two stories is that they seem to be a merging of one another. I believe in the story of the Bible, with Lucifer falling from heaven, I believe a third of the angels fell with him. So he wasn't alone, but he also didn't wander the earth. Cain, however, was cast aside from his family who had loved him, yet his sin he never amended for. It's an interesting tie between these two, because we see Jack, who is obviously Cain in this situation. He's a fallen angel. He was a Spectalander with a bright future, possibly runner-up for the elite member of the Spectalanders, the Night Squad, whatever this faction is. And yet he killed his mother, killed his father. He sinned and he was cast out, alone, to walk the earth away from his family, from those who loved him and still love him. He won't amend himself. He's too stubborn. He's trying to look for something that's not there, but he'll walk the earth with his heavy heart, hopefully with it still being there. But we might see more about Jack's story soon. So let's see the next video. I'm sorry, Mother. We have the angel we saw before looking out into the darkness. Then a colored background with SL01 being beaten up by Jack. In darkness we can hear Jack speak. In the saddest moment, in the most desperate times, everything becomes vain. Then we hear Sonia. No matter what we do, and it doesn't matter how we act, only the best will survive. Then we see Sonia and Jack in the moon side again, starting their fight with a track remix as the two fight, with Jack seeming to get the upper hand, throwing Sonia in a pit as her perspective fades to white. We see a white Sonia in a void, approached by the angelic figure we saw before, and the video ends. Location name, Moonside Cave. Princess alive? Yes. Location name, Chamber of Guards. Am I drowning? Follows after. where we start when James ran from Moonlander in virus form. He somehow gets teleported to a plastic-like dimension, then one with a giant black and red gas firing upon the green lands with tall trees. Then he fades to a completely different dimension with a cobblestone castle that looks almost like the moon. And then he's back at the moon side with builders and construction scaffolding. The next fade has James on a small piece of land surrounded by water, trapped within a slightly illuminated cave. James's footsteps echo in the large room as we see the red virus fade on screen briefly, then a glitch where we see more red particles and a black hole appear in the wall. After jumping in the water, the camera is now focused on a small puddle in the world we saw from Land Showcase. We focus on a small running water stream as we see James float down it into a dirt pillar. He wanders cautiously outside and we can see the world more. James continues to survey the scenery, paranoid at how peaceful it is, and then realizes how high his jump height is now, as he breaks down a dirt pillar to use to elevate himself. He looks and sees the mound with the angel on it and starts to make his way over to her. Her glow illuminates the shadow under the tree as James tries to greet her. Mother says not to be afraid, and that she is a friend to him. She says he may have gone for trials in the past few instances, but this is a time where he can get closer to ending the madness. She senses a curse that spans lands, dimensions, and universes. James tries to phrase a question about what she knows, but she predicts the curiosity within him that has no answers. She says not to give up, though, as she can answer some questions because he is not the only one wandering around the surroundings. This confuses James, but Mother warns that his questions and answers will be limited because the truth will reveal itself when the time comes. James chooses to ask, "Why me?" The screen blinks to monochrome as Mother says that it is a good question, answering that he has an important role in saving those he loves, and those he will fight against. The means, no matter how damned their soul, all deserve forgiveness. His next question is about Sonia, asking if she's okay. Mother is intrigued, yet says he is wrong. But James retorts that there's nothing wrong about asking if his friend is okay. Mother says that she believes he is referring to her daughter, Sonia. James is a bit confused, as he didn't know her by that name. But Mother says she is, and that her heart of gold and passion to be the hero she always wanted to be is within her. Then he asks about Moonlander. She replies that, just like him, he is fighting the possession that overtakes him. But it does mean he's alive. Mother says that the virus by the ongoing curse has been passed down for generations. James's next question asks who Mother is. She is surprised about the kindness of his question, but she is no longer herself. She is the mother of creation, peace, and a queen of the Spectalander kingdom. Or at least she was until she was murdered. James expresses his condolences, but then asks what his own future holds. This question she refuses to answer, telling him to wait and see. So he asks if this will be over soon. She turns to face James, and we can see her teal eyes bearing into him, as she says he is drowning. Over and over again, words phase on the screen such as drowning, finished, swim up. James runs and looks to the sky until we see a cut where he jumps into the small stream he rode in on, and we see a limp body underwater. And the video ends. Video fetch James 22. James 22 alive? Yes. Location name, Acid Forest Hero. Location name, Pixel World Hero. Location name, server, Minecraft 10.00.20. Hero location name, Moonbase. Location name, Moonside Behind the Scene Hero. Location name, Particle Cave Hero. Location name, Mother Hero. Location name, Sequence Swimming Towards Developer's Realm Hero. The next two videos are soundtracks, Dancing Note Blocks and Believe in Yourself, until we get to the dark reality of a fake friend. This one starts with a really neat loading screen of the characters like Mother, the Virus, and Moonlander, which is just such a cool and unnecessary little detail, but I love it's here. Once we load in, it is our perspective with a sword and Jack chasing down two players. Jack eats the one on the right, Slow Gamer, and our perspective pounces on the other. Then we fade on a marble and quartz palace with black, lanky figures running forward. We see from one perspective where they dash to a portal, and the next perspective has a world on fire as we follow the viruses. We see them burning down a base as a player comes out and dies instantly to one of the creatures. We then see from a player's perspective as they run with another player as they are hit with fire. Purple-Hearted 7 fallen off a cliff whilst escaping the virus raid, making her simulation end. Turning around, we see other players and even more deaths in the chat. We can see as they run inside that this is Moonlander's Skelet's base. As the player runs through it for safety, another death, this time by a crawler, appears, as more and more of them are getting killed off. Suddenly, viruses surround them along with a wall of flames. Then we see a red user 0 on a floating flesh thing, saying, "Yes, I'm not him, and I never was, you mortals. What's going on? Well, since you're all going to be slaves in the caves, I'll tell you what's going on. You've been chased by the clones of my friend. You call him Jack. He got very special powers from the land sages, and now I was released from the prison." All the players are scared, begging for their mothers and pleading why User 0 would do this to them. Enough talking. You're all going with me. A red silhouette of a knight with wings appears, similar to the red virus, as the screen freezes and then one of the viruses gets torn apart by a tall, white, lanky figure. Mooney, the player we see from, gets transported to a white temple-like structure, where a dark and oddly lifelike figure rises from beyond the ground. And then we cut back to an ocean blue, as James wakes up from drowning and tries to swim up. He tries desperately to get out as something sporadically shakes below him. We cut to James, face planted on the ground as odd-numbered figures surround him. The same floating ones from before in the post. We can see this is Conflict of Sages update, the developer realm. Well, he's finally here, as he should be. Took him some time. The screen cuts, and we end with the loading animation from before as the video ends. Video fetch, James 22. Video fetch, Mooney. Once again, I'm only going up. Location name, loading. Location name, mod ether dimension. Location name, server skeleton. Location name, heaven. Location name, unused assets fountain hero. Location name, developer's realm hero. The next two videos again are OST tracks, unused assets, and user 0. There are some community posts at this time, but it's just an image of the characters, and the next few are just about the creator's Tumblr, which has stuff about their creative process. 5. Cutscene, Trader in the Spectator's Kingdom. We see Sonia getting approached by her mother, like last time. Then a clip of them standing next to a pond as they stare into it. Maybe you were right about him. Sorry, Mom. Darling, you don't have to be. Everything is going to be fine. Your brother is just as confused as you are. Mom, I'm the last one left. I'm the last Spectalander left alive. I failed you, I failed Father, I failed my people, and worst of all, I failed Spectator's Kingdom. If this is the place where I'm standing in hell, I might as well never leave it. Don't be so harsh on yourself, sweetie. You can still save everything. Just remember, you're a princess. And a princess like you doesn't give up that easily. The screen fades and we see a different version of Sonia and Jack. Mother, I have finally decided to be a hero and savior of the Spectators Council. That's so wonderful. Your father would be so proud of you. Not if I will be the first. The success I'm going through eventually will escalate me to getting promoted to the Spectalander. Ah, yes, you will have that chance too. Brother, you'll get there eventually. There can only be one. Keep that in mind. Yeah, sure. Now, let's keep it civil, people. I'm sure you will both succeed in that accomplishment. We fade back to Sonia and her mother in heaven, as they continue to talk. Don't you remember? You promised yourself to be a hero. You always wanted to be back when you were a young child. Yes, you're right, Mom. I must not break the promise. Hey, it feels cold here. Where am I? As Sonia looks back up, her mother has disappeared. The screen starts to fade, and we cut to Sonia in a vast space in the Spectaland's prison. Then the video ends. Location name, Dream. Location name, Spectator's Kingdom. Dream location, name, Spectalander's prison. SLO1. Time to free my friends. Spectalanders, here I come. Also, completely off track, but I usually check the comments, and one person asked if the version will ever be available to play. In which Moonlander said this: yes, I just have to set up the site, which I don't have at the moment, speak with developers, set up the contract price, somewhere between 530 Floman stones, had to translate, I tried my best, and make a factory developing headsets with the Neuralink chip-like technology to connect to the connective tissue of a person/alien's brain. Any shape, any size, anywhere. Also, another problem, if you want to play it, you would need to have somewhere about 100 to 500 terabytes of internet speed because your physical and mental being would be transferred inside the campaign worlds. Now, I actually asked the creator in a kind of sarcastic way if this was canon, and they told me that in the canon of Moonlander, it's pretty much our universe, except aliens and other creatures can also play the game from different universes. That's the reason the planet tags can be seen above the players' heads in Dark Reality of a Fake Friend video, when the war section was happening. But our next video is As Long As We're Together. It starts with the family of Jack, Sonia, and Mother standing together with a man named James, whose title is Spectator. I'm not making that joke, I'm not making that joke, I'm not making that joke, I'm not making that. Anyway, there is old, crackling music that sounds like a peaceful track in the background of a 1940s film. Then we see the end of the initiation interaction between Moon and Jack. After a quick cut, we're back to when James asked Mother about Moonlander, and if he's okay with her saying he's fighting against the virus. Another cut shows Moon with a dark skin being dragged on the floor, carried by a black figure in an executioner's robe, passing by another similar figure and 2 viruses. Then the video ends. Act 1 teaser. Watching Army starts with SL01 losing their fight against Jack. And then them in the prison, a chain snapping. After that, SL01 surveys the Spectaland prison, but something is different. The jail spheres have corruptions on them that SL01 doesn't recognize. She says that she's glad she escaped the fight, but surprised she was here. Still, she's ready to save her friends. She sprouts wings in this amazing animation and goes onwards as we see the title of the video appear in a dramatic fashion toward the end. The location name are Spectaland's Prison and Spectaland Beta. The next 3 videos are just soundtracks. Good soundtracks if I do say, but for lore, we want to head back to the community posts. Assassin's footage is an unlisted video, where a player in a temple area of the Twilight Forest sees a virus get stabbed and dies on the ground, getting hit with another virus as a tall and lanky green figure beats them and then they teleport away. Location name, Galaxy, Milky Way Via Lactea. Minecraft, not enough data. Location name, illegal mod detected or may not be normal for Earthlings. Twilight Forest, 1.12-3.11.1021 Universal. Assassin, deployed. Kills, 2. Describe the assassination. Beheading clone member of Jack using its head to kill the second virus. The user is now safe and can safely play the game. Video fetch, successful. No one will believe him. This video has the energy of a horse talking to a guard outside of his post and then saying that the other orcs will never believe him. The last publicly available video is Act 0, Part 1 of 2. The Assassins Los Asesinos. We start the video with the same footage of the black lanky figure running, and then it reverses back from where they reach the portal. The next scene has fires lighting up to display a white totem pole. For a few frames we can see the smiling white bugger who looks like he's from Anne. Then we cut to a white figure in a black suit, hat and eye gloves. My servants, tonight we gather, not as mere shadows lurking in the dark, but as a force bound by purpose. We are the Assassins, a name that sends shivers down the spine to those who oppose us. And now we shall face a challenge that is unlike any we have encountered before. Our new task consists of rescuing players from this wretched simulation we live and were created in. Yet it is our mission to find them, to rescue them from the clutches of this artificial nightmare. We must guide them, protect them, and show them the path of ending the contract. Only then can we gather the strength we need to break free from User Zero's grasp. But make no mistake, this will not be an easy task. User Zero has eyes everywhere, and this simulation is designed to test us, to break us. We will face enemies that defy logic, puzzles that twist our minds, and traps that threaten to end us. But we are the Assassins, master of the unseen, the uncatchable, the unstoppable. Now go! Do not disappoint me. The sequence after shows us a beautiful manor with the Spectator's Kingdom, with interesting models for guards, and amazing animation all throughout. The cinematography and animation of the big boss character along with all the NPCs, whether they be player characters or custom. The most minor things have attention. The shot of the man entering the manor and then tipping his hat is just as amazing, where we see all the other figures outside doing their jobs. There's even a post-credit scene that show a bunch of construction workers, actors, and stunt doubles. It all just looks so good. Especially that after-credit scene. I can't imagine how much work and time and planning was soaked into those extra few seconds at the end. but it just adds so much character to this video. Was it necessary? No. Was it amazing? Yes. Am I glad the creator took the time to add a scene that builds character, humor, and personality to the series? Absolutely. But now, this is the final analysis and opinion of the series. Honestly, I fucking loved it. First though, let's go over our final interpretation of the story. Starting a bit of chronological order, we look at the Spectalanders and the Assassins. These are the first two factions that we know of. The Spectalanders are a people from a different planet or universe that sees themselves as saviors, somewhat. They complete missions and have a high guard, while the Assassins seem to work together with the Spectalanders sometimes. How we can assume that is that Me was what we saw in the very first video, and the Spectaland videos where we can determine Me was Sonia, because that is so far the most consistent name scheme with that character. Sonia and Jack were the children of mother and father, or the mother of creation and the creator or father. In their younger years, the two were very attached to their mother, and wished to fight for the position of the highest hero status as a Spectalander. Sonia was able to get the position instead of Jack, and sometime in this period, Jack kills his mother and is cast out, being under the influence either before, during, or after by a virus. This virus seems to be spread by User Zero, or works with the virus in some way. He's able to clone himself across worlds to manipulate people across these different galaxies and versions, which makes him a target by the Spectalanders and Assassins. Moonlander is prophesized to be important and needs to be saved. So, Sonia and the other big Spectalanders are actually sent to save him. However, all of them die except Sonia, who then chooses to hide as an innocuous player. Much later, Moonlander, James 22, and Skeleton then start playing the game. James and Moon were being targeted by what they called as spitters, or the viruses. We're still a bit lacking info regarding the developers that Moonlander mentioned when talking to the viruses. They seem to actually be neutral figures that don't want to get involved, and don't often get involved. They're in an isolated realm that seemingly no one knows how to get to. And the creator, who knows exactly where it is, refuses to give it up to Jack. Security through obscurity doesn't work, though. They seem to pose no direct threat, as we see no real intervention from them, even when James literally falls into their dimension. For one reason or another, Moon later chooses to willingly side with the viruses and gets taken over by them, turning into his virus form. Skeleton seems to be temporarily out of the picture, as we only see James go after him, and him meeting Sonia in the Moon side. They then face Jack as a virus, who taunts James with the corrupted Moonlander, ensuing James fleeing and Sonia fighting. Fast forwarding through the fight where Sonia loses and ends up in the Spectaland prison, James meets Mother and learns about his quest to save his friend, and how this is so much more than just them. He awakens after almost drowning in the developer's realm, leaving his story to a cliffhanger. However, with Sonia no longer a perceived threat to Jack, he kills his own father in search for the developers, gaining new powers and working as a servant under the true User Zero, who wishes to cause chaos and kill all those from different galaxies and worlds, making them slaves in his caves, for some reason. Luckily, the Assassins choose a path of good and start killing the viruses and hunting User Zero to save everyone. And this is where we are now. But there's one last thing I kind of wanted to touch off of that I didn't write into the script that I've only kind of realized now. I think the Assassins and SL01/James are going to be put against each other while fighting User Zero and James. Because SL01 was influenced by their mother that Jack can be saved. James was told that no matter how corrupt or far gone someone is, there is still redemption, and a heart can still be purified. So, I think that it's going to end up with James and SL01 trying to actually turn Jack back into his angelic form, back to being a true Spectalander who is not evil, but compassionate and strong. However, I think there's going to be a problem with the Assassins, because the Assassins want to kill everything. They do not believe in redemption, they believe in ending it all now. So I think that that's going to be an interesting conflict that may be set up in the future. Well, that's my current prediction. But now for my critique of the series itself, and I'd actually like to start with the cons. Not like there's many. Now I have two main criticisms about this project. One of them is actually about the soundtracks on the channel. No, they're not bad. They're actually quite good. But they're in the same spot as all the other videos and take up like half of the space. Frankly, I don't actually have that much of a problem with it, but I would like a bit more separation with some playlists, like a playlist that has all the videos in order of release and then one with all the music. I say this because playlists help people find the channel and help them know which ones are the series and which ones are music, which there's a lot of intermixing of the OSTs and videos. My next critique is more in the way of explanation. This doesn't mean explanation of the story, but rather having more puzzles or secretive elements would add more intrigue to the series, since there's more stimulation of puzzles and hidden things to find. Now, I know this is mainly a web series and not necessarily an ARG, so I don't really expect the creator to start giving us codes constantly, but some occasional puzzles can be fun, even if they're hard to come up with. Another branch of this criticism relates to the playlist thing, ordering. I have spoken with the creator on this project a few times, and I am still clueless on the act structure of the series so far. The channel description has the act names along with completed and ongoing, but I feel like having that in a playlist would make it clearer and easier to categorize the series. This type of organization is also just better for the web series format that the developer seems to be going with, instead of a bunch of hidden mystery videos and side stuff. Yeah, those are pretty much the standout criticisms I have. Now for the praise. I love this series. The story starting out, I will admit, is actually really confusing, and turned me off from the series initially for a while, because of how my brain didn't click things together like how most ARGs drag you in. However, sitting down and watching it all helped me actually understand and really enjoy it. The soundtracks are great, and the music on most of the videos fits and is timed so well to add emotion or impact. The custom animations the creator has poured so much time and effort into have clearly gone up in quality and scale throughout the series' runtime, which leads to long breaks within videos, but they're so damn good. The set building, the characters, the fights, the animations, I love them so much. Sonia's story is slowly being unraveled over time, helping contextualize the previous videos to keep viewers thinking and change their perspective on events as they happen. The way I write my scripts is that I go through the series and I give my thoughts as I'm going along to show my thought process with you. And at the beginning of the script, I believe that those lanky creatures and the M00nlanders were evil creatures trying to hunt down the heroic User Zero, who was trying to peacefully work with players. But as the story has unraveled, we see that beyond that simple veil and a complex dynamic between the different factions, characters, and their position within the story. It shows the intricacies of these characters and their purpose and their missions and the overall narrative we've been given. Alignments change, there is no status quo, and we're seeing these characters develop, improve, become worse, or change in dramatic ways that allow us to connect to them. I'm gonna be honest, most Minecraft ARGs mess up when it comes to only using text, because that kind of loses emotion within impactful moments. Andrew Gaming 67, for instance, one of my favorite Minecraft ARGs, has Andrew talking into his mic, which allows us to connect with him, empathize with him, and even cry with him at times. While this series largely uses voices with heavy filters or computer-generated voices, they, along with the soundtrack, create impactful and emotional moments. Jack's speeches in his deep, corrupted voice make for a chilling and scary speech as contrasted by his sister, who has a softer digital voice. The contrast created strong moments within their interactions. While many are unvoiced, those that have the great emphasis within them. The contrast created strong moments within their interactions. While many are unvoiced, those that have voices have great emphasis within them. I really need you to understand how great this series is, and that it's not close to over, I think. I think the series deserves more support and is genuinely a fun watch. For those who always feel like they can't enjoy an ARG because of the vague puzzles, well, here's a web series where you get everything and can look deeper for puzzles if you want. We're hopefully going to get more story because I've had conversations with the creator, and they were quite excited to say how much there will be. There's even a special video in the Moonlander Discord that has spoilers for Act 3. It does have lore stuff in it, but because we don't have any other public videos, I won't tie it into the theories I mentioned earlier. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how enjoyable the audio in this video was, because my voice is kind of shot right now. I'm currently recording this video with a double ear infection and allergies while on a medication marathon to try and get it to go away. It's like my second cold in 2 weeks, and my ears and voice have been in a lot of pain, so sorry if my voice is a little weird in this, but I tried to cut out all the coughing, sniffling, and congestion as much as possible. If you like this video, or just like ARG videos in general, then I urge you to check out my videos on Brandon Works and the Batman series if you're into these creepy series that have darker stories. They're just some of the lesser viewed ones, along with Rapid Eyes, but there's also the more popular ones that are Minecraft related, like Slots Available, Andrew Gaming 67, and Player 30. Just check out my channel and go into the ARG playlist that should be linked below. This video will also be in there. If you want dumb videos instead, though, check out my channel with my buddies called The Day Shift. It'll be linked below, and we're working on more videos soon. I'm trying to work on a Deep Rock Galactic video with them right now, and I'm also trying to sift through more footage for another Roblox video. Last thing for me to shill is the community Discord, where I put out previews, announcements, stream schedules, and other discussions. And of course, check out RescueTarget Moonlander in the description below. It'll be down there and labeled. I appreciate all the support, and if you stayed around this long, try subscribing, and check out some of my other videos. Anyway, as always, comments, criticism, and suggestions are always welcome. I will see you later. Arrivederci.